It's Thursday, January 23rd, and this is now on HNN.
They're reeling.
Shell shock as residents return to Diamond Head, coping with memories, among other challenges.
But he killed the soul of my neighborhood.
The police chief lays out changes she thinks must be made to protect officers and the public.
We have to be able to track people who are mentally ill.
House managers spend a second day laying out their case in the impeachment trial of President Trump. I'm Natalie Brand on Capitol Hill with senators' reactions so far.
I'm waiting for how they're actually going to vote.
Happening now, warning level surf is rolling in along West and North Shores.
Kimye Minor, who is nominated for her release called Hawaiian Lullaby, has been thinking about this for about a year.
These stories, plus we'll check in with Billy V at the Grammys. Coming up on This Is Now. Hey everyone, it's Jonathan alongside Lacey here. Thanks for watching This Is Now. We want to get you caught up to date, right, with the very latest on the tragedy that's happening in Diamond Head.
It is an emotional homecoming for residents who were evacuated 4.5 days ago. The middle of their neighborhood is now an empty lot filled with ash and still an active crime scene. Our Chelsea Davis filed this report.
Just 3 days after triple murder suspect Jerry Hanel torched his neighborhood in a hail of gunfire, resident Gisela King returned to the home where she was stabbed, now a vacant lot filled with nothing but ash.
My neighbors are kind of in shell shock. They're reeling, and a lot of them are homeless. And you know, a lot of those houses have been in family for years.
Gold Coast resident Stephanie Sophos went live on her Facebook during Hanel's rampage. She wanted to document what she thought was her final moments.
My point was, I felt that I could have died, and I wanted my family and friends to know what was happening.
Well, no two people experience a traumatic event in the same way.
Psychiatric nurse practitioner Sandra Leagy Brandon says symptoms from post-traumatic stress disorder can happen in days, weeks, months, or immediately.
Some of the things they might experience are intrusive memories, where they'll have flashbacks, upsetting dreams, nightmares, or they can even re-experience the trauma.
Nessie Cruz hid in her friend's closet and prayed until a police officer came to her rescue.
The first day I couldn't sleep at all, so but the second day I was like trying, but any kind of noise, it's like, you know, it's scary for me.
This one man not only killed the officers and he killed his landlady, but he killed the soul of my neighborhood.
The suspect in Sunday's rampage showed signs of mental illness for years. This week, Honolulu's police chief laid out changes she thinks must be made to protect officers and the public and to help the mentally ill. Jim Mendoza reports.
Honolulu Police Chief Susan Ballard says a database that catalogs a subject's TROs and past problems would better prepare officers for what they'll encounter.
And I know people don't like that, but we have to be able to track people who are mentally ill, and not just to track them, but also to get them the services they need.
Ballard also wants social service workers embedded within the police department to help with crisis intervention. City Councilman Tommy Waters says crisis intervention training should include others in the criminal justice system.
Perhaps more training for pretrial officers, prosecutors, and judges to recognize when somebody is mentally ill and dangerous.
Ballard also wants to see permanent residential facilities for the mentally ill who pose a danger to themselves and others.
They don't have a choice. If you're mentally ill, you are going to go to a facility, you're going to get the help that you need, because obviously you cannot make those decisions on your own. And I know it sounds tough, but I think it's time for tough love now.
Jim Mendoza, Hawaii News Now.
All right, we're going to continue following this story, of course. We actually have a crew there in Diamond Head right now as we speak, gathering more witness and neighbors' reaction to the events that unfolded and to their homecoming. We've also posted a special digital documentary about the tragedy at Diamond Head on our digital platforms. You can find it here on Facebook, on our HNN app, and on our .com as well. But for now, let's get some other news developing here at home.
Volunteers are trying to count all the homeless people in the state this morning. Mileka Lincoln reports on the effort and how that information helps.
Aloha, good morning. Earlier this morning, dozens of volunteers gathered here in Kalihi. This was just one of the meetup locations for those who want to assist with the point-in-time count. This really is a very critical resource for Hawaii to determine how many homeless individuals live in our state so that we can get the funding that is needed to address some of the specific concerns and issues that are required to try to break the cycle of homelessness. Now, the point-in-time count is an annual nationwide homeless census that's conducted for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And officials say an accurate point-in-time count is imperative to ensuring there are enough services in the right neighborhoods to assist Hawaii's homeless population. It determines the funding and resources that are committed. And the accuracy of the point-in-time count is really dependent on the number of volunteers who are able to assist with the data collection. On Oahu, volunteers counted 4,453 homeless people in 2019. Statewide, the number of homeless individuals was 6,530. Now, the number of unsheltered homeless, though, on Oahu has jumped 12% last year. The census counted that there were at least 2,400 people who were living on the streets, in parks, or in their cars. The number of sheltered individuals went down 13%. Now, since 2015, the number of homeless families has declined 42%. That's some good progress there. And veteran homelessness has gone down by 18%. But despite 3 consecutive decreases, Hawaii currently still has the highest per capita rate of homelessness in the country. And again, this point-in-time count, which occurs on a single night in January, as we mentioned, nationwide, is really critical to helping to determine what resources can be allocated, what services are needed, and the specific reasons why people end up becoming homeless. We'll talk more about this throughout the day here on Hawaii News Now, but for now, back to you guys.
Of course, we'll have an update on that point-in count coming up on our evening newscast. A little tongue twister there. But for now, we got to get to another story we've been following since the very beginning here at This Is Now. That's that virus that everyone's talking about.
Yeah, the World Health Organization says a viral illness in China that has sickened hundreds of people is not yet a global health emergency. The World Health Organization issued its evaluation after Chinese authorities moved to lock down 3 cities earlier today and canceled major events in the capital of Beijing during the Lunar New Year holiday period to try to contain the new virus. The United Nations Health Agency made its decision after independent experts spent 2 days assessing information about the spread of the newly identified coronavirus.
Now, the chair of that emergency advisory committee said that it is way too early to consider this a public health emergency of an international scale, but he did note that the panel that decided that were pretty divided, almost 50-50 on that decision. All right, let's move on to the impeachment.
The majority of senators filed into the chamber a little after the chaplain's prayer opened day 3 of President Trump's impeachment trial. Natalie Brand on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers who are acting as jurors are split on how the trial has been going so far.
Let's check in with Natalie.
House managers began the second day of their opening presentations focused on making the case President Trump abused his power.
There was no basis for the investigation that the president was pursuing.
This conduct is not America first. It is Donald Trump first.
Senators are sitting silently through the marathon trial sessions, but outside the chamber, they've been weighing in. Democrats and even some Republicans have praised the House managers on their presentations so far.
I found yesterday's testimony by the House managers riveting.
I thought they did a good job of taking bits and pieces of the evidence and creating a quilt out of it.
Other Republican senators have complained the arguments are repetitive.
I think that every hour that goes by where they don't say something new, they make it easier for people on the bubble to vote against their position.
The same Republicans saying they heard nothing new just voted 9 times on Tuesday to hear nothing new.
Senator Schumer says conversations are ongoing to introduce new witnesses or documents, but Democrats have shot down the idea of a witness swap, testimony from former National Security Advisor John Bolton in exchange for the Bidens.
President Trump tweeted that a witness swap would be a big problem for the Democrats and that their presentation was loaded with lies and misrepresentations.
We're looking forward to the chance when we get to lay out our case. This whole thing is illegitimate. It's a sham.
The president will spend part of Thursday evening at a Republican Party event in Florida as House managers continue to argue their case. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
All right, we want to stay with this story for one moment. That's because Senator Mazie Hirono was on CNN this morning. She was talking about the impeachment trial, and we want to listen into that interview for a little bit. Let's play that out.
You might have heard just a moment ago, Rachel Bade, covers the Hill, saying that from her reporting, there really isn't any realistic hope at this point of 4 Republican senators joining Democrats to vote for witnesses. Maybe that tops out at 3, though Chuck Schumer is saying on the other side he thinks they're making gains every day. Can you tell us what's going on behind closed doors? Do you have Republican support, or at least possible Republican support, to call witnesses?
At least on day one, which was all of Tuesday, the Republicans made it very clear that they're going right down the line with Mitch McConnell's playbook and supporting this lying president. I don't see very many cracks there, and in fact, what I'm hearing my Republican colleagues saying is, well, we're not hearing any new stuff. Oh, really? We spent all of Tuesday fighting back all of our Democratic managers in our efforts to bring in new evidence, new documents, and new witnesses. So that's utter hypocrisy on their part. And then they're saying, well, we don't want to keep hearing the same things. We're restless, etc. You know what? It is hard to listen to things that you don't want to hear. Truth. And frankly, I think what the Republicans are suffering from is the truth hurts.
Senator, good morning. Nice to have you.
Good morning,
you've been very vocal in your criticism of the president throughout the House investigation, et cetera, up to just this morning. Are you ready to convict the president?
I'm waiting for the president's people to mount an unredacted evidentiary defense of the president, which is more than the president saying this is all a witch hunt, this is all a hoax. That's not evidence, that's just rhetorical nothing burgers. So I am waiting for his team to make an evidentiary, unredacted defense of what the president did, because the facts as laid out by the House managers yesterday was very damning, that this scheme that the president was so intent on having happen, which is the investigation of Joe Biden, he was so intent, and the scheme didn't just start with this July 25th phone call. It started with in March, when there were all these efforts to get rid of Ambassador Yovanovitch and to malign her, cast aspersions to get rid of her. So, yesterday's recital of what the president did made it very clear that he was totally focused and intent on having Ukraine, a very vulnerable country, bend to his will for his own purposes, not for our national security, not for our country's good. If anything, Poppy, what's happened is that we have put our own, our country's ability, I would say, our country's word. When we told the Ukrainians, we have your back, and then the president does this, what does this do to our country's standing?
Yeah.
And what do our allies think of us? I mean, our word is not good, not under this presidency.
Are you confident that you will get a vote on admitting witnesses or new testimony, new evidence?
No.
May not get a vote.
No, it may not happen, because the discussion, the debate is going to be on whether or not we should have a debate about witnesses or documentary evidence. And so Mitch McConnell has set it up in the strongest way possible to fast track this trial so that it's a fast trial, not a fair trial. And you know what? All of Tuesday, we're there for 12, 13 hours, watching the Republicans go right down the line, pretty much, except for one little vote that didn't really matter in my view, go right down the line to protect this lying president and to be on Mitch's playbook. And I think Mitch is going to do everything he can to hold on to his caucus, because that's his goal.
The thing that is confounding, I think, to a lot of people, though, is that you've got public opinion on your side for these witnesses. Yes. 69% of the country, 69% of independents, 48% of Republicans, so plurality there. Do you have indications from Lisa Murkowski, from Senator Collins, et cetera, that is swaying their mind when it comes to witnesses, that they may side with you guys because of public opinion, or is it not making a difference?
I think it pains them, but I don't know if at the end of the day they're going to break from the playbook, which is the president's playbook. I think that they are wringing their hands, but wringing of hands is not a vote, and I'm waiting for how they're actually going to vote. And the way things are going is they're going to go right down the line protecting this lying president, and that is bad for our country. And really, the thing that bothers me a lot also is going forward, the president already believes that he can do anything he wants under Article 2, including shooting somebody on Fifth Avenue. What's he going to do if he's exonerated? Who's he going to shake down next? What money is he going to use as a bribe with the next person or country? That should be a concern to all of us, because we know that this president is totally capable of doing that.
Senator Hirono, it's nice to have you on a big, long day ahead for you. Thank you.
In other news, actress Annabella Sciorra is confronting Harvey Weinstein at his New York City rape trial. With her voice quivering, Sciorra told a jury Thursday that the former Hollywood honcho overpowered and raped her in the mid-1990s and made other crude overtures, as sending X-rated chocolates and showing up uninvited in his underwear. It's a first of several expected confrontations between Weinstein and his accusers at a watershed trial for the #MeToo movement. He has insisted any sexual encounters were consensual. Weinstein is charged with forcibly performing oral sex on a former Project Runway production assistant in 2006 and raping an aspiring actress in 2013.
And for our podcast listeners, we saw Weinstein there walking into court today. Today he was not using the aid of his walker, which we've seen in past, but still had two people bracing him up as he walked into court because he is still recovering from back surgery. Let's move on. We're going to talk about Australia. There's devastating wildfires. There's a new development there. 3 U.S. firefighters have actually passed away due to a plane crash there. Let's get the very latest from Ian Lee. He filed this report from there, and let's check in with him.
The fight against Australia's deadly wildfires took another tragic turn Thursday when an American water bomber crashed, killing everyone on board.
Initial reports are that there was a large fireball associated with the impact of the plane as it hit the ground.
These photos show the C-130 Hercules tanker when it was helping fight fires in California last summer. Here you can see the same type of plane dropping fire retardant near Sydney 2 months ago. Authorities say the aircraft took off around noon local time and crashed about an hour into the flight near the Australian capital, Canberra. Strong winds and high temperatures are fueling fast-spreading flames in the area of the crash. Local residents call it devastating.
And those people got families and whatever, and they're just out here trying to help everybody out, and you have a tragedy like that.
These air bombers are crucial in the battle against wildfires, as they can drop more than 4,000 gallons of fire retardant in a single pass. Blazes have consumed an area larger than the state of Indiana and killed over 1 billion animals and at least 30 people. More than 100 American firefighters are in Australia to help get the disaster under control. Ian Lee, CBS News.
All right, let's move back here at home. From our vantage point here in the digital center, we're taking in a live video feed of the North Shore. This is Waimea Bay, and we're just seeing some of the surfers out there. One guy just got a wave right then. I looked it up. Surf right here at Waimea, 18 to 20 feet. Whoa. But there's really a potential for danger with this all unfolding right now in the ocean conditions. Let's get the very latest from Guy Hoggy with a check of those high surf levels that are developing right now on the north and west facing shores.
How's it on this Thursday? We have ocean alerts posted because of that large swell. High surf warning on for most north and west shores. It's big, it's dangerous, and it's life-threatening. Small craft advisory on for those harbors as well, because we got those swells coming in. 25 to 35 feet today. Not big enough for the eddy, though. We haven't heard word from the officials, but I've been watching the cameras, and it doesn't look like it's big enough to run the contest, but it's dangerous also down on the west side. Not a whole lot happening in town, although it's about 1 to 3 feet. Now, the weather's really calm. Now, there are some showers hovering around Kauai and around the Big Island island, but otherwise it's mostly dry. But there's a good chance for some afternoon clouds and some afternoon showers with these light winds. And those winds will run light today. A light trade wind breeze expected tomorrow, and then more prevalent trade winds are coming in for the weekend. So for today, we've got light winds, lots of sunshine early, clouds building up in the afternoon, and then we could see some afternoon showers.
Aw, thanks, Guy. Hey, are you ready for something big this weekend?
Yes. In fact, we have some Hawaii people up on the mainland.
Oh, yeah.
Kimmy A. Minor had a front row seat last year as Kalani Pe'a's name was called, and he walked up to collect his Grammy Award. Billy V has more on one of the first-time nominees for this year.
We have relocated to downtown Los Angeles, of course, the home of the Grammy Awards coming up this coming Sunday night. Kimmy A. Minor, who is nominated for her release called Hawaiian Lullaby, has been thinking about this for about a year. It was 12 months ago that she was in the audience in support of Kalani Pe'a with Haku Collective and watched in amazement as he walked up to the podium and won his award. And she thought, well, if he can do it, then the dream could be more attainable. This could something that could be done with a lot of hard work. So she's here with her producers, guest artists who are on the album, but she's happy to have one young lady, her friend Anu Pea, by her side.
We are going to the Grammys together, and so as best friends who used to be in theater class together and stay after school on the stage and sing our hearts out on that stage, you know, and just thinking about our future and music and things like that, I am so happy that she's going to be there with me to share this first-time Grammy nom experience. You know,
two best friends sharing an experience of a lifetime with the best entertainers in the world at the Grammys. From Los Angeles, I'm Billy V, Hawaii News Now.
Billy gets the best job.
I know, so exciting. Wishing all the best of luck to all the Hawaii nominees. I think they're going to do awesome.
I think so,
They're
too.
so talented.
And I was just looking up some of the performers for the show.
Okay.
They include Aerosmith.
Nice.
You a fan?
Yeah.
Billie Eilish.
Okay.
Ariana Grande.
No way.
Jonas Brothers. There
Wow.
you go, Lacey.
I would go just for those two.
John Legend.
Wow.
Lizzo. Everyone knows I'm
Oh
the
my
Lizzo fan here. Bonnie Raitt. Hey, that's a blast from the past. I love Bonnie Raitt. Gwen Stefani.
Wow.
And well, that's all I got on the list, but there's many more. That's all I can look reading at CBS's website right now.
That's
But
exciting.
that airs on KGMB
And
Sunday night.
just the fact that they're representing Hawaii so well and they're going up there, it's huge. You know, win or lose, they still make Hawaii proud. So good luck, guys. We're rooting for you.
We'll have to see how all unfolds. Billy B is going to be there and give us updates throughout the week and weekend, so we'll check in with him again. Let's take you outside one more time to Waimea Bay, folks. Look at those waves crashing in for those watching us on
That's
Facebook Live.
18 feet too big for me.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't be out there, but some guys are having fun. But heat caution, if you do head out to those waves, you want to keep in mind there are some warning levels out there, and you can read the latest about them on our HNN digital platforms. But for now, Lacey and I will be back here tomorrow, folks.
Aloha.